You're on like your fucking myriad or something? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Coffee Milk Hour.
What's a myriad?
That's your man period.
Oh.
Yeah. How about that? Happy
I
Wednesday.
don't get those.
Really? Because... Whatever. All right, fine. Welcome to the show. I'm Puffy.
I'm Jerry, and I'm enjoying a caramel iced coffee with cream, no sugar, from Dunkin' Donuts, because America runs on Dunkin'. We didn't get paid for that,
But we would like to. Duncan, if you would like to do a brand deal with us, let us know. I would love to be sponsored by your
What
delicious
other
coffee.
endorsements can we do?
I would love to be endorsed by Wendy's.
We're recording on our Blue Snowball microphones. Blue Snowball, great microphones. I just created that slogan.
Blue Snowball, great microphones.
Great microphones.
Wow, that's an outstanding marketing
We're going to
technique
upgrade to Yetis soon because we're abominable.
Shut up. I would love to have Wendy's sponsor the show. I would love to talk about the Baconators and drop like 30-second ad pitches about the Baconator.
If they give us Wendy's during the show, we're just going to eat
that's even
the
better.
whole time, and we're going to be fatter than we already are.
I'm okay with this.
I'm not.
Dude, it's free Wendy's. Come on.
Does that include Frosties?
Sure, why not?
I want a Frosty right now.
No, I'm not. No.
Let's pause the show and go get a Frosty.
No, we have things to talk about today. Finally, we have something to talk about today.
Because all you guys who listen to the show don't give us any topics to talk about, and then we sit here and we come up with stupid topics.
You're an idiot.
Even though I want to talk about aliens.
We do not need the audience to suggest what we talk about. That is redundant.
It's interactive.
Well, yeah, it would be nice if somebody suggested, like, hey, you guys should do a show on this, but it's not their responsibility.
Actually, Nate Della suggested we do a show that one time.
Did we ever do that episode?
No, we never did.
Wow, so we're on a pretty good track record of listening to our audience so far.
We should probably do that show.
We should probably do that show, but not today.
Not today.
We don't have the research for it today.
Right, we need to do the research.
Also, it's fucking hot. Can we talk about climate change?
Why?
Because it's hot, man.
It is hot, but that's not climate change. It's just hot. It's summertime.
Yeah, but can we talk about climate change used to our advantage to make it cold all the time?
Yeah, the Ice Age coming in 2030.
That's too far away. I need the Ice Age now.
It's only like 13 and a half years.
That's a long time away.
In 13 and a half years, it'll be
2030.
2030. No, you won't be dead by then.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, you're going to survive beyond everybody.
Did you preface that with unfortunately?
Yes, because you want to die younger, but you're not. You're going to outlast everybody, and you're going to be miserable.
That would be the ultimate misery for me. You know me so well.
I can't wait.
Wow. For me to be miserable?
No, for you to outlast everybody.
Oh, you're a good friend, you know that?
I am the best friend.
I'm glad that we do this show.
We should talk about how loyal a friend I am. I'm the most loyal of all friends.
That couldn't be more of an untrue statement.
I think it's the most true statement.
No, we're not talking about you. We're not talking about your loyalty or lack thereof to your friends. What are we talking about again? I forgot.
I don't know. My eye's really itchy because there's dog hair in it.
Okay, we're talking about pride in
your hometown, maybe.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about having pride in your hometown.
Can we invent like some type of device that goes in a house that like you hit the button and it like unstatically charges everything and just sucks all the animal hair into it?
But,
and then you just throw it out?
What does that have to do with what we're talking about?
I'm just suggesting this as like an invention for all the inventors out there to create.
Oh, good. Yeah, just give away a solid $1 million idea.
I'm not going to create it. I don't know anything about fucking electrostatic energy.
You don't. You just sell the idea.
To who? Who's going to buy the idea?
You hire a fucking engineer to design a contraption, right? So you pay him like $200, then you sell the idea to like GE or some shit.
I think it's going to take more than $200 to design that machine.
Not if you know the guy. It's a fucking pencil on paper, dude. It's blueprints. Like, how much do blueprints cost? I need to cover the cost of your materials. Paper, check. Pencils, check. Erasers. If you need one, you're a bad engineer.
I don't have a pencil, though.
How do you not have a pencil?
I just don't have a pencil.
Today is frustrating.
So today we're going to talk about if it's important to have pride and where you come from. Or if it's normal to think that where you grew up is the best place on earth. This idea comes from a viewer.
This idea comes from our production manager.
Potential production manager, but we don't have the money to pay.
We'll pay her in gratification and sweets.
What kind of sweets?
I don't know.
Turkish delights?
Like chocolate?
Like chocolate?
Like, I don't know. What do you like? You tell us what you like, and I'll make him get it, because I don't have any money.
I don't have any money either.
Yes, you do!
I don't... we will not discuss my financials on the airwaves.
You are funding this show.
What?
Single-handedly on your shoulders.
Yeah, because it's been free so far.
We're all very proud of you.
Until we get software to Skype people in. Who wants to be Skyped in?
Yeah, we are taking special guests for pretty much every Friday.
Yeah, we need some more special guests, you guys.
I would love to have Amelia Clark on the show.
Why?
I just want to talk to her.
Why?
Maybe get her phone number.
Of all the people to pick, like, why her?
Because she's fantastic.
I'd rather have, like, Maisie Williams.
No.
Yeah.
No. I don't know if I could have a conversation with her for longer than 5 minutes. I'd be like, hey, your character's pretty cool, but, like, I don't really know what else you do. Like, what do you...
At some point, we are going to do a Game of Thrones season recap for this last season being the most phenomenal season of Game of Thrones ever. So all you people, once again, who have not caught up with the show, you've got, like, 2 weeks.
Also... since we're talking about unrelated shit, apparently, we recently shared on our Facebook page a link to our friend Nicole's science page, Science Blammo. It's a sister Facebook page to her Tumblr account. You guys should check it out. It's actually pretty fucking neat.
If you're passionate about math and science, Blammo is the place to find it.
Wow. Dude, we could totally be spokesmen. We need to start calling up companies and getting... Dude, how often do we go to Lowe's for, like, repairs for the house?
Oh, like 3 times a week.
Lowe's should be
Maybe
obligated
more
to sponsor us.
Yeah, but
This episode is brought to you by Lowe's. Cheaper than Home Depot.
Home improvement doesn't really fit in with our podcast, though.
Our podcast talks about anything.
We haven't done a home improvement episode.
So why don't we do an episode about the home improvement that you've done in your house?
Because I don't want to talk about it because I'm fucking tired of it.
And then
I'm tired of all of it.
We'll cite Lowe's, and then we'll pitch it to Lowe's, and they'll be like, wow, that was awesome. Here's some free equipment.
Yeah.
What if they give us a backhoe? We can have a caterpillar in the backyard.
We don't have a backyard.
The back area of the condo.
Yeah, like where the marsh is. Yeah. We can dig watery graves for our enemies.
I like that idea, actually.
Me too.
It's really nice living where there's like a swamp that nobody really goes near, because if anybody really pisses me off, I can just fucking bury him back there.
Yeah, but now that we've recorded this, it's automatically going to be the first place they check.
No one's going to find you.
Because no one listens to our podcast.
Wow, you have optimistic views about this show, don't you?
Well, we have a lot of viewers, but we've been dwindling lately. I don't know why. You guys have been very unloyal.
Wow, just come straight out.
Pick up the pace, fuckers.
You are. Wow. Okay, so that's not how you keep an audience. We should reevaluate. Like, what are you going to Podbean?
I'm just gonna check out our viewership.
Unreal.
Look, we have 239 total downloads. We're crushing it. 6 people listened to our Aliens episode.
Only 6?
Only 6.
That was a good episode.
It was a good episode.
How many people listened to the Donald Trump episode?
Donald Trump, like 1 million.
Really?
Yeah.
On Podbean?
Oh, Friday Freestyle a couple weeks ago, 20.
Oh, how about that?
I don't know. I'm not gonna. Oh, Trump, 22 with a like.
Wow, we got a like.
Crushing it.
Love it.
Okay,
we got to keep putting ourselves. Look, I'm willing to whore myself out for more exposure, because the problem with being 2 guys from a really local area is that everybody knows everyone. So, like, I share the page on my Facebook, and you share the page on your Facebook, and we hit the exact same demographic.
Basically, we're willing to put Jordan out there to give away free blowjobs for listeners.
I do great hand stuff, so I'm told.
There you go. He's totally willing.
I just want to be internet.
Totally
famous.
Consensual.
Is it consensual?
Give me the money, he'll do the work.
Why do they have to pay us too?
What?
The exchange is services for advertising.
Yeah, they're gonna sponsor us.
Can we be sponsored by an advertising company? Because technically, doesn't that mean that they advertise us every time we mention them as a sponsor?
I imagine you could. That seems a little bit counterproductive, but yeah, I mean, you could do that.
Just bring it up. I want to be sponsored by Monster.
Why? Everyone is sponsored by Monster.
Yeah, but it would feed my Monster.
We're not even talking about anything right now.
Oh, that's fair.
We have to talk about the episode.
We're talking about having pride in your hometown.
And whether or not it's normal to have pride in your hometown.
It's absolutely fucking normal, but the problem is everybody else is wrong and we're right because we're the best.
Well, I don't think everybody else doesn't enjoy their hometown.
No, I was saying everybody thinks that their hometown is the best, but they're wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we should have a battle of the hometowns.
So where I'm from, you're from Warren.
No, I'm from Bristol.
Oh, okay. We're from a very small town in Rhode Island called Bristol, which has the oldest 4th of July parade in American history. The oldest continuous parade, I should say. And it's awesome. And this week coming up, we've got the 4th of July on Monday. And it's arguably the most exciting time of the year. Better than Christmas. Better than all the other holidays.
Whoa.
4th of July.
Nothing is better than Halloween, but I'll let it slide.
Are you kidding me?
In terms of like town events, yes, the 4th of July is the best
Halloween
event.
fell off the face of the planet, 4th of July would still be the best. That doesn't even make sense, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think I understood what you meant. Halloween is better than 4th of July. That's just a fact.
It's not.
It is.
Halloween is for children.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you put on a costume, walk around, and get candy. You take the candy out of the equation, I'm going to sit at home and watch Netflix.
You might get stabbed.
By who? By the little kids in their costumes?
No, by someone you know who thoroughly loves Halloween.
You?
No, but I kind of want to, but I won't because I respect your opinion.
You won't.
Look, what if...
I feel like a lot of people don't have pride in their hometown. And I feel like a lot of people grow up in places and their whole lives, they're like, I need to get out of here. I need to escape this. I need to go somewhere else because I lack definition. Let me go somewhere else so that I can be defined there. Why does that happen?
Because most people grew up in a shit place.
But did they? Because I know a lot of people that grew up in the same town that we grew up in, and all they want to do is escape it.
I don't understand that. I've never understood that. Like, all right, so I've been out of that state for 7.5 years. I can definitely be on the outside looking in at this perspective. And for the most part, it's kind of a cesspool.
What do you mean it's a cesspool?
Like, it's not in terms of, like, how the town looks or the economy or anything like that, but, like, the social aspect, right? You're either in or you're out. And if you're in, you're only in with certain select groups. And it's like this big warring nation, like, in itself. It's toxic, almost.
I'm pretty sure it's like that anywhere. I'm pretty sure if
I don't know, man.
I'm pretty sure if you grow up somewhere, there are going to be cliques of people, and you're going to fall into one of those groups, and that's your group of friends, and that's it.
All right, so, I mean, I can only speak for Bristol. That's where I grew up, obviously. But, like, everybody has sex with everybody.
Yeah, but that's going to happen almost everywhere. I mean...
Is it, though? Like, we need to research this.
I mean, if you're in a big city, you go to a high school within the big city, and then the people that you're with every day is just like being in a small town. I mean, our high school is actually pretty big comparatively with a lot of other people I've met, especially in the military. Like, my graduating class was 250. I've met people who graduated with like 60, 70 kids.
Which is weird because we're from a tiny town. But then again, we have like 3 districts in that one school.
But it's not tiny. It's 20. There's 25,000 people in Bristol. There's probably over 20,000 people in Warren. We're talking about 45,000 people. That's not a small number of people for like 5 square miles.
That's fair. I gotta stop saying that. Damn.
I just think that, like, anywhere you grow up that's rural, like where we're from, is people are going to have cliques and they're going to sleep with everybody. And then you get older and you go off to college and you do your thing. And that's when you don't sleep with anybody anymore. And then, or maybe you do, or maybe you marry your high school sweetheart, or whatever. But, like, I don't think it's, like, incestuous.
Okay, let's start. Let's back up a bit. Let's start with the easy question. Do you think it's wrong to have pride in your hometown?
No, I think it's important to have pride in your hometown. And I think one of the biggest problems in America is that the sense of community, there's no more sense of community. It's like people almost feel like it's not okay to have sense in your hometown. You need to go somewhere else. Like, I grew up here, so I can't live here for the rest of my adult life. There's this stigma to, like, having to get away from, like, all of your friends and family and, like, go do your own individualistic thing. So there's no more sense of community. Whereas, like, my grandmother and, like, even my parents, like, those generations, they're like, yeah, we grew up here. This is ours. We define it. We change it. We care about each other. And you get that sense of community, which is really essential for human prosperity. Individuals do not do well, period. I mean, humans do better in groups, in every aspect. Very few people go out and are individuals and do their own thing and, like, excel in the world. You need a community for moral reasons, for support, just for general health. But I feel like Americans have kind of just, like, devalued this idea of community. So if you grow up somewhere, there's the stigma that, like, oh, you stayed here your whole life. What a boring life you led. But, like, I feel like there's way more. I feel like that could be way more fulfilling than going out and doing something on your own and maybe losing out on that sense of community for the rest of your life.
I don't think you have to leave your hometown to feel like you fulfilled some sort of purpose. And I agree that I would go as far as to say that it's wrong that we perpetuate this idea that you have to leave where you come from in order to do something greater in your life. People can do great things from their own backyard, from the house they were born in. You know, I know people who were born in the house that they live in right now, and, like, they will inherit that house from their parents, and they will stay there, and that family line will continue. That, to me, is so much better than like going somewhere else and starting over and like being a part of something, quote, bigger than you. You know what I mean? Like, the only things bigger than you are the things that you allow to be bigger than you. Like, if I grow up in a tiny town in a tiny state in the country, and I still do great things in my community, I'm still doing something bigger than myself. I don't have to leave to do that.
But like, isn't that like the American thing though? Like, everybody wants like wide scale recognition for what they're doing, and it's like, oh well, I grew up in Bristol, Rhode Island, so if I like do something in my community, who's gonna notice that? I need to go to LA, I need to go to Chicago, I need to go to New York, I need to go to these big metropolitan areas where you're gonna disappear into the crowd. You're gonna disappear into the crowd, and you're gonna be nobody. To most people, you're just going to be nobody, and unfortunately, I feel like a lot of those drives are very egotistical. I don't understand the whole, let me move to LA, let me move to New York City, let me go do these very metropolitan things. I'm not saying that everybody from those cities or in those cities are doing things for selfish reasons, but I also feel like, what is LA? LA is Hollywood. LA is acting, and what is New York? New York is Broadway and corporation and everything else. And just by moving to these places, they're kind of the definition of ego. They're kind of the definition of selfishness. So why does everyone feel the need to move to these like big metropolitan areas where individualism hails above all?
I wouldn't say that those places are the definition of selfishness. That kind of makes them sound like those. Like, if you're from those areas, you're super pretentious and kind of a douchebag.
But if you move to those areas, you're moving there for those reasons, right?
But you're not gonna grow up in, like, if you grow up in Bristol or Warren or a tiny state like Rhode Island, right? And you want to be an actor your whole life, and that's all you want to do. You're not gonna become a famous actor in Rhode Island. So, like, in certain aspects, you have to leave to go to these places for that. But I do agree that there is a sense of selfishness when you're leaving just for the recognition on a larger scale. You know what I mean? If I'm doing something for my community in Bristol, and I say, well, I'm not getting enough recognition, I need to go somewhere bigger where I can do this and get more recognition, you're not doing it for your community. You're not doing it for the betterment of the people around you. You're doing it for you, so you can get as many pats on the back as you can. And that's where that line needs to be drawn. Whether you're the head of a town council in a city that has 20,000 people, or the head of a town council in a city that has 60,000 people, your goal shouldn't be, how many people can I get to like me? Your goal should be, how can I make this town the best town it can be?
Right. And you need people like that to make every town in America a great place to live in. You need people to care about that. So maybe the question is this. Is it okay to give up your hometown and your sense of pride and your sense of community in order to make more money somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, at the end,
like, is that okay? Like, do you feel like it's something that we should just aspire to do? Like, oh, wait a minute, I like it where I grew up, but I'd rather make more money. So let me move somewhere where I'm not going to have an identity.
I don't think that you have to bail on your pride in where you come from or your love for where you were born in order to go make more money. I mean, at the end of the day, the ultimate goal for anybody, as terrible as it is money is a necessary evil. So you want the best job and the best location for cost so that you can live as comfortably as you can with, your personal achievements in your life. You don't have to fucking give up on, like, your town or where you came from or anything like that. There's an actor, I forget his name. He's not, like, a huge A-list actor, but he's been in some big movies. He's been in, he was in Super 8. He was the head guy in Friday Night Lights, the coach. I don't know his name, but he goes to Hollywood and he brings his family with him whenever he does shows or movies. That guy right there. And but whenever he's done, he goes back to his hometown in Texas where he was born and raised. He doesn't want to become a part of that life. He intentionally doesn't abandon him. He doesn't abandon
Tim Riggins, is that his name?
I don't know, is it?
I don't know.
We'll find out. No. It's not Tim Riggins. It's something. Just go to click all, not images. We're doing research on the show.
Oh, there we go.
Kyle Chandler.
Kyle
That's
Chandler,
who it is.
there you
Kyle
go.
Chandler, he's in movies, he's in TV shows, you know, he's not like super famous, but he's famous. He makes a boatload of money whenever he does these deals, but he never left where he came from. He goes, does what he needs to do, goes back home. He's got a ranch, he's got his family, and he's still a part of his community and has that sense of pride in where he came from. And I respect that. And I think that's how it should be done. You can go out and make your money and do what you need to do, but there's nothing wrong with holding on to the pride of where you came from.
I feel like up until a few generations ago, it was the normal thing to do to just kind of stay where you were born. I feel like some people moved around, but for the most part, you're born into a town or a city, and you stayed there, and then you traveled. I think people have always traveled. People have always taken vacations. People have always wanted to see other parts of the world. But I feel like most people were born into a place, and you know, I'm speaking about a time period in which I did not live. But I feel like a lot of people were born into communities that they then took pride in, but they kind of they made their hometowns part of themselves. There was a community pride that you grew up with, where you were less likely, I think, to leave your hometown. Now I'm wondering, what is the cause that's making people think, okay, I have to get out of here. It's not socially acceptable for me to stay in one place.
It's socially acceptable nowadays to be as rebellious as you possibly can. What's more rebellious than growing up in a hometown and no matter how great it is, being like, fuck this town, fuck the people in this town, fuck the politics in this town's not big enough for me, I'm out, I'm better than this town. It's super, like you said earlier, egotistical and like douchey way to go about it. But I think that's one of the things that drives people to it. Like, I bet you that a lot of the people who leave where they come from aren't leaving where they come from because they really want to. I feel like they're trying to get into that niche of people who do it and, like, are better for it or claim to be better for it. I don't think you're a better or worse person whether you stay where you were born or whether you go somewhere else and abandon, like, the pride in where you came from. But I think it's important to note that more than your parents, more than your siblings and your friends, in my opinion, your environment, where you grow up, the people you interact with as you are growing and developing as a human, are going to seriously shape who you are. So, if you do grow up in a small town, and then you leave, and you become this big CEO, or this big name actor, or something like that, like, who you are is a reflection of where you came from. And to turn your back on that is fucked up, because you wouldn't be who you are without it. And I feel like there's a sense of obligation that should be there to note that, to be like, you know what, I wouldn't be who I was if it wasn't for the sweet people in Bristol who were nice to me, just like randomly walking on the street, who give you a smile and a wave and ask how your day is going, or going into Dunkin' or Sip and Dip to get a coffee and having like a 2-minute chat. I can't do that anywhere else, dude. I fucking hate small talk when I go to buy shit, but like when I'm home, it's just the atmosphere is different, and I think it's the same for any town you come from. Like, you know the people loosely.
Well, but okay. So, but what I've always struggled with is I thought, okay, I've thought I was weird because when I was growing up, it was like not that many people. Everybody was like, "Oh, I want to leave, and I was thinking was like, I love Rhode Island, I love Bristol, I love my town, and a lot of people around me were like, "Oh, I can't wait to get out of here. This place sucks," and it's like, it's beautiful, it's green in the summer, like it's clean, it's well taken care of. The people are what. This southern hospitality thing, I'm not that far south, but like I don't see it here in Virginia. Like when I'm at home, every person you pass on the street or whatever, they look at you, they smile, they wave, hey, how you doing, whatever. They could be a total stranger, like it's very like cordial, and I haven't experienced that anywhere else. And I've been, you know, here in Virginia, when I was in Chicago, when I was in San Diego, like you don't get that type of friendly atmosphere that I've gotten just walking around in Rhode Island, like total strangers. And so like I've always struggled with, okay, it gets cold. Yeah, it gets cold. A lot of people are like, oh man, I hate how cold it gets. I don't really like the winter. And it's like,
I love it.
But like that's pride for me, right?
Man.
It's like I'm from Rhode Island. I'm from the north. We can endure the winter. It's not a big deal. 6 inches of snow, 6 inches of snow. I can drive in that. Whatever. It's not that cold. I'll throw a jacket on. Whatever. Like, and the snow is really beautiful. And then you get the season. So the spring comes and everything is like this vibrant green, and like the flowers are all blooming. It's like you get that change, and like you get to experience all of that. And then all these people are like, oh, let's go to fucking Florida or San Diego because
hot and sunny all the time.
Hot and sunny all the time. And it's like, okay, I mean, that's not for me, but like what I don't understand is if you grow up in a place like Rhode Island where you get to experience that change, what happened to you where you were like, no, this is bad. Winter's bad. Winter sucks. Is it just because like the internet is more accessible and people see these other places and maybe they romanticize them or like, I need to go, I need to go, I need to go, I need to get out of here? Is it because there's a wealth of knowledge out there that says that like every place is better than your hometown? Look at the pictures online.
I don't know. I think what you're onto something with the internet there. I'm willing to bet that, you know, when you have something so readily available like the internet at your fingertips and you can see all these places and you can see it might create this need in you to be like, I have to go see these places. Or it might more so make you feel trapped because here you are living in this town and you see all of these amazing places and it seems so daunting. Like when you think about the possibility of you ever getting out there. But then you do get out there. And this is just from personal experience with friends of mine who have left Rhode Island. But, you know, most of my friends who no longer live in Rhode Island, all they talk about is getting back to Rhode Island. Like, I need to find a way to transfer this job to Rhode Island so I can get back there. You know, it's just not the same here. I'm not enjoying it. I have a good job, but I can find something of a similar opportunity there. Like, a lot of the same people who I remember being like, I can't wait to leave this fucking town are like, I can't wait to get back to this town.
But is that unique to Rhode Island, right? So like in the places I've been, and people have disagreed with me on this, but like everywhere I've been, it's essentially the same. It's like the geography changes and there's like slight differences in like general attitude, but like everywhere is essentially the same. You get the same stores, more or less. You get the same type of culture. We're all Americans. Maybe there's more minorities. Maybe there's less minorities. Maybe there's a higher Spanish population. Maybe there's a higher black population. You get some slight cultural differences that are unique to cities like, say, Chicago. You got like your deep dish pizza and
Louisiana has crawdad festivals.
You know, you get different. There's different cultural, events in different places. Sure, but really, people are really more or less the same. So then what is it? I can be at home next to my family with the friends I grew up with, people who know me inside out,
and who are willing to tolerate
which I
you.
take comfort in, by the way. I'd rather know someone fully and completely than have nobody know me at all. And I do think there's a faction of people out there who hate people who know everything about them or what's going on with them or what's going on with their family. I feel like there are people out there who take the sense of community. They say that's not community, that's an invasion of privacy. And I don't think that's true. I think that like you grow up in a small town and sure everyone knows a lot about you, but that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that people know what's going on in your life because that also means that people can support you when you need the help.
Be more sympathetic towards your situation.
Of course there's going to be like high school bullshit and gossip, but you get that everywhere. You get it everywhere. Like that's not different. So is going back to Rhode Island something that's unique to Rhode Island? Or like does someone from North Carolina who joins the military and ends up stationed like Washington, do they want to go back to North Carolina? Do they feel the same pull that you and I feel to go back to Rhode Island? Or do they have a totally different experience and they're like, fuck North Carolina for a totally different set of reasons? Because I don't understand how anyone could get there mentally.
This is actually pretty lucky because part of my job while I was in the service is, separating people from the service. So like whether they're retiring or just getting out at the end of their contract or whatever, I would handle their paperwork and namely where they were going. And I always would like take note of like people like, oh, they're going back home. This is where they're putting their leave destination. I'd use it as small talk while I'm doing their paperwork and stuff, waiting for them to be able to sign. But for the most part, and I can say this with confidence, a lot of people never went back to the places they were going. There were a few here and there, but most would either just stay where they currently were or be like, nah, man, I'm going here instead. Like, I don't want to go back home or this and this and this. I've been to many, 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 many places in the time that I've been in. And I will only speak on the side of the U.S. because it's a whole different story in Europe and overseas. But I've been to a lot of small towns, I've lived on an island, on a pure island of like 10,000 people. You know what I mean? I live here in Virginia in a community that's very different, but also very the same to Rhode Island in terms of like, stores and whatnot. And I will say in my opinion, that it is highly likely that the atmosphere of Rhode Island is very unique to Rhode Island. It's different. It's not the norm. You go to these places and you see these people growing up in these towns, and all of them are like, I'm not going back. Fuck it. I fucking hate that place.
Except Texans, right? Like everybody I meet. Oh my God, Texans are
but they're the exception that proves the rule.
No. But they're just like us, right? It's like you meet someone from Texas and they're like, oh, I grew up in Texas. Texas is the best. I'm going back to Texas. You should move to Texas. And I'm sitting there talking to the Texas people and I'm like, no. Rhode Island. You need to come to Rhode Island. You need to experience Rhode Island. And it's the same type of pride, but like that's something I was raised to like take pride in my hometown. Like my grandmother and like mainly the older generation, but certainly my dad and my mom had been in those towns for their whole lives. This is where we live. It's awesome. Take pride in it. We do all these things. We have the 4th of July. We put the lights up in the winter. We have these community events. You got concerts on the Common. You've got all these like things that are like innately either, Rhode Island or New England. And we're raised like that. And I think Texas is probably like, you're a Texan. You were raised in Texas. We're the biggest, the biggest state, the Lone Star State. We're badass. And we're Rhode Island. We're like, we're small. We're going to fucking kick your ass. We have pride because we're the small state and we're going to fuck you all up.
We're like the Chihuahuas of the
US.
We're
like the Chihuahuas, except we're not quite as annoying, although some people would probably think that we're just as annoying. But that's fine. That's fine. But maybe, could it be that like we're from the smallest state and like, automatically it's like we're from the smallest state, we have a personality, we have an identity. Do other states not have identities?
I feel like a lot of states get blended in together. If you go to Washington and Oregon, they're almost the same, in my personal opinion. And I don't know if that offends anybody who's listening in Washington or Oregon, and I apologize if it does, but like the big major differences between Washington and Oregon is like Portland. The city of Portland, Oregon is perpetually stuck in the 90s, and I fucking love it. If you ever get the opportunity to go there, go. It's amazing. But like outside of that, it's the same. You know what I mean? Like Colorado and Utah, kind of the same. Nevada and Northern California, kind of the same.
Nevada's in the south.
Nevada and Northern California.
Nevada and Northern California.
Yeah, pull it up on a map.
I'll just...
No.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, like, a lot of states tend to blend in together, You have... There are some exceptions, like you have Virginia and West Virginia, and they're very different states. But for the most part, yeah, you could like blend like, oh, it's the Midwest or it's the Northwest. And you say it's the Northeast, but then you also say it's New England. But then you also say like it's Rhode Island. I think we have the most unique things out of any other state out there.
But like I say it's the Pacific Northwest, but I'm sure that if I go to Washington, Washingtonians are going to be like, no, Washington pride. We love our state. We love Seattle. We love whatever, Tacoma. They must have that, right?
Yeah, dude, no, fuck you. Look, Nevada's up in the northern part of California.
And the southern? Yeah, okay, it's the whole thing. Never mind.
That's what I'm saying,
yeah. So, like, it's just, a lot of people leave Rhode Island, I don't understand it. Or they'll leave and, like, I understand you want to go, like, experience life or whatever because you're young. But, like, there's also, like, this, I don't like Rhode Island mentality or I hate Rhode Island mentality. It's like, I don't get it as someone who grew up there. And conversely, like, I just kind of expect everybody I meet to feel the same way about their hometown, regardless of where they're from.
I can support the idea that you should always have pride in where you come from. This whole episode, we've been talking about it from the perspective of two guys who came from Bristol, Rhode Island. The episode is about having pride in where you come from, your hometown. Is it right? Is it unfounded? Should you give up on it? Should you stick with it? Should you stay? Should you go? I can only speak from how I've seen other states, but I obviously wasn't brought up in other hometowns. So, like, what hometown are you brought up from? Like, help us understand this. I want to know, like, do you want to leave where you currently are? Have you left and you want to go back? Have you left and you never want to go back?
Are you raised to have pride in your town, or is everybody, like, indifferent to your town, or does everybody say this place fucking blow this town up?
Yeah, like, how much do you guys actually talk about, like the importance of your town? And I know Virginia does it in, like, the historic Civil War areas and stuff like that, but, like, a random, like, Bristol, we have the oldest celebrated 4th of July. That is probably the biggest fact about Bristol, Rhode Island.
But we've also got, like, we've got Native American history. We know about King Philip, and his name is all over the place. And we know that he lived in Bristol, and, like, we know about the underground slave trade, and, like, we know about the Colt family who made the Colt 45, and we know about the DeWolfs. You know?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, we have so much ingrained in our town, but it's not stuff that we ignore. A lot of people can probably grow up in a town that's rich in history, but if nobody celebrates that history, or if nobody talks about that history, or takes pride in that history, then it's gonna just be like, oh yeah, I grew up in X town in X city of fucking Kansas, cause whatever, it's just a town, man. But like, no, Bristol isn't just a town. It's like, it's an institution. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, right. And but we've got the history. So I think Bristol is a beautiful town. I think New England is a beautiful area. But we're also rich in not only American history, but in Native American history. We're all in school taught Rhode Island history, to an extent, or Bristol history.
Yeah. Quick question: is anybody else taught homeschool shit in like where they come from?
I'm sure they
curious.
have to.
Like that's an actual question.
I mean, they probably go over like the Alamo and stuff in Texas.
Well, yeah, but Texas, and it's funny because like less than a week ago you were talking about letting Texas
let them go.
Right,
let them go.
Fuck
Fuck them.
But they are the only other state we can think of that celebrates their statehood as much as we do.
As much as we, yeah, I think Massachusetts probably as well. But again, home to the Revolution essentially.
Well, yeah,
and like steeped in history with Boston and everything in Concord and everything that went on there, and maybe it's an East Coast thing. I mean, we have more history than the rest of the country just because we were
by default
colonized first. Yeah. Not to say that there's not a ton of like very, very interesting Native American history out west, with like the Hopis and the Aztecs coming up from the south, and I mean the Native American history out in the Southwest I think is phenomenal. But really, they didn't get out there till the mid 1800s, like really establish themselves. So is it history? Like, what is it that makes people take pride in their hometown? Is it something that needs to be taught? Is it something that's inherited? And then what keeps that pride instilled in us to where we want to stay where we are? Is it society that says, oh no, this is a new America, this is a new like global economy, you need to get out there? Or are people just literally thinking, I need to make more money, I don't care about friends, I don't care about family, it's all about me, I need to go make more money elsewhere?
These are all
what are those
questions.
factors?
I would like to know what people think about that. So let us know. And Wendy's.
And yeah,
if you're listening,
Dunkin' Donuts, we run on you because we're part of America.
Seriously, we go to your store at least 3 times a day. All right?
I also have this brand name that I cannot see, lint roller with a pet paw on it. You guys are awesome. You get all the pet hair off of my clothes.
You're just gonna start naming shit around the office right now. Like, we've got Clorox wipes here. Hey, Clorox.
Earlier today, I visited the Virginia Aquarium out on the ocean front. I took some great pictures. It was a good time. They also have an adventure park. Way to go, Virginia Aquarium.
I imagine it's pretty cool there, too, because they have to keep the fish cold.
Actually, the water temperatures usually have to be a little
your fucking mouth.
Warmer.
So that's been the coffee milk hour. I know it was a little slow going getting to the topic, but good talk. And I really want to know, like if you have friends that are not where you are from while you're listening to this episode, show them this episode. Have them answer the question. You know, can you comment on Podbean?
You can comment on Podbean. You can comment on Facebook. You can
YouTube.
You can send.
We check all of them.
Send the Coffee Milk Hour a private message if you don't want to post. We want your feedback.
Yes, we want to know. You know, one of the things I've always been interested in doing is like if we ever do a topic that really gets people going and they start talking about it and they have input, we can do like a reflection episode on it.
Yeah.
And like bring in the opinions of others and stuff like that.
And if your comment's really, really good, we'll bring you on as a guest.
Yeah, we'll fly you
out.
Come
bullshit with us.
But you have to pay for the plane ticket.
Or if you're from Virginia, you can just come by to the office where we record our show.
Right, but if you're not from Virginia, hop a train. We'll cover name expenses. Like
what?
Like
Jordan will cover your expenses.
Yeah, I got you. We'll rob a bank. We got this shit.
Bam.
Anyway. Join us on the Friday Freestyle this week. We will have 2 special guests.
Maybe. We don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah,
but we're going to need more microphones. So, again, Jordan's going to have to pay for some stuff.
God damn it. Woo! See you guys Friday.
Bye.